Hi, Alan. Good to have you on the video today and to be talking to you. And thanks for agreeing to give us a quick testimonial. How are things going?
Going well. Thanks, Crush. Everything is great.
Awesome. So, Alan, tell me a little bit about your job and what you do.
Yeah. Currently, I'm a senior vice president of technology at Triumph Financial, which is a publicly traded financial technology. We're solving payments in the transportation space.
Great. And do you mind sharing what your situation was before you started working with us and what got you interested in working with us?
Yeah. Well, I just finished 8 years of work for AT&T slash DirecTV, where I was the VP of technology, building the streaming platform DirecTV Go out for 8 countries, over 11 customers. I just transitioned to a new domain, financial technology, where I'm leading the team to transition from being a bank to a bank actually in a factoring company to a financial technology company. So you can imagine the cultural change is large. Also building the capabilities from a technical is large, all in the midst of a big new challenge of being in a new domain for me. And I think just like I've grown up being in sports, and any athlete, in order to accomplish great things, whether it's a sports playing on the field or a corporate athlete, needs a good coach. And so I wanted to work with somebody that had kind of been there and done that in the technology space and was a couple steps ahead of me. And so that's why I wanted to work with you.
Great, great. And what happened after we started working together? What changes did you start seeing in your career, and what results have you achieved?
Yeah. Well, a lot to talk about there, but I'll
Mhm.
just kind of narrow it down to two. I'd say a couple shifts occurred. Number one, I've always been focused on goals. Since I was 8 years old, I put a 3x5 card up by my night switch or light switch, and I'd look at that every morning and evening. And there's good parts of that. There's obviously some challenging parts of that, is that you can get focused on the trees and not zoom out. And so you had challenged me in the early part of focusing on what is it that you want your identity to be. And I started thinking about, CIO and how do I grow into that. And so I think that's the first one. The second shift has really been, sorry about that. The
No
second
problem.
shift has been in not necessarily identifying my blind spots, but putting together strategies to mitigate those blind spots. I think just to speak about how both of those have helped me to achieve results. This last week, I was down in Mexico for a senior leadership retreat and recognized by the CEO for leading one of the key projects, bringing together the three organizations, delivering over $10 million of revenue. And so, that's number one. Number two is that it's transformed the way that I think about myself. I'm a number one Enneagram and can be very critical upon myself. I think one of the strategies that you help me to deploy is, think about your successes, review those successes. And as I began to do that, obviously the way that I think about myself changes also the way that other people interact with me. And, I would say I haven't always been great at celebrating others, but my Gallup scores are some of the highest in the organization, and have gotten some really good feedback from the team members. And so those are a couple of the many results.
That's awesome. That's great. So you mentioned a couple of things that helped you. What did you find most beneficial in the program for your situation?
Yeah, it's hard to narrow this down to one item, but I think as many people that want to achieve, you want to achieve all kinds of things, and you gently encouraged me to focus on the one big distinctive contribution, which was the highest value for your time. I think is one. And then secondly, reviewing monthly, daily, or weekly, daily goals keeps me focused. And I would say in the midst of moving homes, moving jobs, new industry, being a one, in the past, I would have been overwhelmed, that this was the anchor that kept me grounded and focused. And as a result of that, rewarded by senior leadership at the retreat recently. And so I think those are, the what's been beneficial.
Great, great. And one last question, Alan, what's your advice for people who are watching this and are feeling stuck in their current situation? They're looking to break through to the next level, and they're not sure if this program is right for them or not.
Yeah, it's a great question. I would suggest, if you like what you have, keep doing what you're doing. Your second part of that question was, if you're stuck, there's a way to get unstuck. And I think that working with people that have been there and done that, like Koresh, is a great way. But beyond just Koresh, he's got a model and a methodology that he's employed himself over years of success as a CIO, and that focus on growing your mindset, understanding what your leadership capabilities are, and then focusing both on your strategic thinking as well as your execution. Koresh has provided me a clear blueprint that not only I got in the program, but I can continue to use and look at, refresh on a daily, weekly basis. And so it's as they say in life, there is no blueprint, but I would say there is. Just follow people that have been there and done that. And Koresh has provided a simple model that is both stretching strategically as well as helping you to execute. So I couldn't recommend highly enough to work with Koresh.
Very good. Thank you very much, Alan. It has definitely been a pleasure working with you. It's also wonderful seeing your successes, and I know there will be a lot more that we can celebrate together. And thank you for doing this, and I look forward to your future successes and continuing to be on your side with all that.
Thanks, Koresh. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.